Thank you. So let me offer prayers. Maybe you may recite along with me. Om Ajnanatimira Andasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sopadantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunadhanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Krupa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pachasya Desatarini Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you all for joining this Sunday Fish program. So this is the first time I'm speaking. Please bear with me. I'm not a good speaker. So I was told to do this service. I accepted simply so that I can glorify Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So thank you Shadrupa Mataji and Premanand Mataji for giving me this opportunity. So this is the topic, material problems and spiritual solutions, right? So Krishna certifies in the Bhagavad Gita, of course the material world is full of happiness. Right? So, no, he doesn't do that. He says that, let me go to the Krishna. Okay. So, the nature of the material world is Mamupetya Punarjanma Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. Right? So, he says it is actually, I think I need to do this. Okay. So after attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. So he certifies that this is the temporary world and full of miseries. So that Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, right? So, there are enough problems already. So, by design, this material world is designed in such a way that it has the problems always, right? There is a basic problems of birth, death, old age and disease. So, because this is like a prison house, right? It's for a reformation of the souls that are coming to this material world. But then what are we doing? We are trying to create more problems. Or we are trying to, instead of solving those problems, we are trying to get the death nearer to us, right? Instead of living 100 years, we are trying to die maybe in 70 years or 60 years, right? And same thing with the diseases, right? We are unnecessarily doing a lot of things, trying to resolve those problems, and we are trying to create the more problems. One simple thing is that, we always try to find a solution, right, for the problem that we see. So, I mean, earlier, people used to go with bullock carts or whatever it is, right? I mean, by walking and all. So then we got these motor vehicles. So yeah. We got the motor vehicles. Yeah, we got these motor vehicles, and initially it was good. We are going with so much speed, we are able to reach. So, but then we are using the fossil fuels, and it has limitations. So, it will not last long. So, and also there is a lot of pollution, right? We are realizing that there is a lot of pollution that those vehicles are creating. And now what we are trying to do, we are trying to resolve that by getting the electric vehicles. So what happens after a few years, we don't know. I mean, the electric vehicles are reducing the pollution for time being, but what happens to the lithium that we need for those batteries? And what happens to those batteries after some time? Right? So they have to be sent somewhere else. So there is again another problem that is coming. So I mean, every problem, every solution that we are trying to find a problem, and the problem itself is actually generally, the solution itself is bigger problem. Right? So in this way, we are creating and making it more hard and hard. So, I mean, there are many problems we will discuss maybe in the next few minutes. So, of course, this global warming, many of you are aware, and it is creating a lot of problems. It is creating more frequent droughts, right? Intense, I mean, we don't even able to guess it, right? So, in rainy season, it will be like too hot. In a lot of summer, it will be like very cold days, some days, right? I mean, it's very, very unpredictable weather that we are seeing. And also, I mean, the glaciers are getting like wiped out, right? Then a lot of destruction that is happening and it's making it difficult for the human beings as well as the other living entities also. So, I mean, we see a lot of forest fires that very frequently happening in California, or we heard, I mean, many of the here Indians. So, we have seen last couple of years how the floods are in cities, right, in Bangalore and Chennai. I mean, those floods are, I mean, it's unpredictable, right? I mean, we will not be able to live the cities. It is becoming like that. So, I mean, actually, it says in the last month, August, I think the way the temperatures are recorded for last 143 years or so, one of the highest temperature, 1.6 degrees more than the average of the last 143 years, right? It's actually, and also its last 9 years is the highest temperatures compared to last 143 years in August recorded. So it is increasing, but it's increasing slowly. So we may not be able to realize it now, but slowly it is going to be a problem over the time, right? And also there are severe droughts. So severe droughts that are happening because of various problems. So we will not be able to solve this problem by creating artificial rains, right? So we need water. So I mean, these are the big problems that we are experiencing, and also, and you see the wars. Why the wars are happening? Because of some people's greed, right? And intense greed, and they are scared because of fear factor. They try to see, okay, I mean, because of envy or because of anger, they want to attack the others' properties, or they want to, take it, other countries, or because of fear. Okay, they are going to come and attack me if I don't attack now, right? That's what we generally see. Because of those problems, wars are happening, right? So then we are creating nuclear bombs, right? Chemical weapons. So all these various things that we are doing, and it is creating more destruction and all, right? To solve this, what we did, we created the United Nations. Right? So what is happening? I mean, it is, in the sense that, from the statistics, if we see, we had around 1945 after World War II, we did this. Around 100 plus countries were there. Now you see 197 countries are there. Right? We did this, but then the problem is not resolving. So what it says is that, my understanding is that, okay, simple political efforts are not going to be enough. It is not that that is wrong, creating United Nations is wrong, but those only political efforts is not helping us to resolve those problems. Then what is this? Can anybody guess it? Pollution. What is the picture that's showing? I know it's pollution. It is it is a Yamuna river in Delhi. Right? So, one of the pictures. So why do people treat this way? Rivers in general, rivers in specific, or nature in general, right? People doesn't know, right? So there is a big, big problem, but people doesn't even care what is happening. As long as the trash is going out of my home, I don't care, right? So because it's trash coming and they're taking it, what they're doing, we don't know, right? Something like this is happening in different places. So actually, I think some 30 years ago or so, in India, they started a mission called Clean Ganga and Clean Yamuna. So we see still its problem is like that. Because there was, I think it happened, I was hearing from one Prabhuji some time back. So there was a Iskcon sannyasi in Delhi airport, and I think Maneka Gandhi was the Minister of Environment at that time. So she went straight to him and asked him, Swamiji, you give a lot of lectures on, on the scriptures, and your Yamuna is very dear to you. So what are you all doing to this project? So can you guess what is the answer he would have given? He said, we can do whatever we want to do, but at the end of the day, it is not going to help, right? Unless the people's hearts are changed, right? Because people's hearts are polluted, it is going to be not easy to do anything externally, right? It's not going to help. So it is like actually, I had some time back actually a skin problem, right? So many years back. So I was going to so many dermatologists. So they're trying to cure the problem where I had it, and it's coming somewhere else. So it was not going on for 2, 3, 4 years. So it was like so much problematic. So then I went to an Ayurvedic doctor. He said that the blood is polluted, right? We need to treat the blood. So as long as that was treated, within 3 days or so, I never saw those problems again. It is actually the root of the problem that need to be resolved, not the problem itself, right? So maybe some people may say, people may ask, what about the rivers in US? Right? Yesterday we were doing the Nagar Sankirtan MSF, and we were looking at that Naperville river. It was so dirty, right? It's so dirty actually. If you see it, right? Maybe some rivers may not look as dirty as maybe in cities in India, right? The rivers, but still actually people cannot drink the water. I don't think anybody has seen drinking a river water with a palm full here. Right? And also the government, I was looking at it, so a government of US declared that many of the rivers are polluted. They cannot be used for swimming or any purposes, right? It's so much pollution, 50% of the water bodies. Many other problems, crime. Of course, we all know there are a lot of problems with crime, right? We have a lot of security systems in place, but nothing is helping, right? So, there's so many cameras. Actually, our neighbor's house, recently somebody tried to break in. So, they had cameras, front, everything, the person came and pressed the bell. They were able to record everything. But then she tried to break in through the basement, small glass. They cannot go, but that's how it is happening. We could not catch the person. They complained to police, but they could not catch it. And that is a simple thing, but there are a lot of problems that we see, right? In school, guns and all, and communal violence, right? And fights between different religious groups, right? Every religion is supposed to be worshipping the God and keeping the God in the center. But then again, people are fighting, right? So that is another big problem. So problems within communities. People are trying to come together and try to suffer a good cause, right? But then again, problems are coming. As soon as few people come together, there are problems, right? Forget about few people, just 2 people, right? There are a lot of problems. So we'll go through some examples, and within a single person, right? Within our own personality, right? Even if nobody is around us, there are problems within us. Of course, the external problems, internal problems. Right? There's so many problems that are there. So then what is the solution, right? So yeah. So actually what we will do, let me see. So we'll take some examples from the scriptures to see. Maybe we'll start from the bottom up, because we are seeing the bigger problems and coming down to the lower, right? At individual level. So we will take from some references or some examples from the scriptures. What happened, something from the Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna says to help the individual problems. And also we'll take some examples from the scriptures, Srimad Bhagavatam specifically, and to see how when the 2 devotees got together, there were problems, how it got resolved, right? And when 3 people were there, and when multiple community of people were there, and what we need to do, solve a bigger problems. Bigger problems will not be able to solve, right? We'll not be able to stop the global warming, like few of us together. But yeah, we will not be able to solve the pollution problem, few of us together. But we'll be able to solve some problems within our community, within our families, and within our individual things. Right? We'll see some examples from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Of course, by doing at individual level, and we'll be able to help the society in maybe little, to some extent. So these are the, what is the biggest enemy for individual level? Of course, I already gave it the mind, right? So, I mean, of course, mind is the, Krishna says is the, biggest enemy and worst enemy and also the good friend as well. So, but mind is the very difficult to control as well, right? Arjuna says it is very, I can stop even the wind, right? But I cannot stop the mind. So, Krishna immediately doesn't disapprove that. He says, yeah, that is true. So, what you are saying, Arjuna, is right. Right? It's not that mind control is very difficult, but he says that it is possible by practice. So then Prabhupada explains actually what is this practice. So any newcomers today here? Everybody knows Bhagavad Gita, right? Yeah, sure. Thank you. That is. Actually, this he speaks in the battlefield, right? So, 6th chapter Bhagavad Gita, the context is, Krishna was explaining the Ashtanga Yoga, right? So, for performance of any yoga, one has to control the mind. So this is the paragraph Prabhupada is given and the purport, what is the practice? So, he talks about it. The difficulty of controlling the obstinate mind, as expressed by Arjuna, is accepted by the personality of Godhead. But at the same time, he suggests that by practice and detachment it is possible. What is that practice? In the present age, no one can observe the strict rules and regulations of practicing oneself in a sacred place, focusing the mind on the super soul, restraining the senses and mind, observing the celibacy, remaining alone, etc. These are the Ashtanga Yoga, right? One has to follow. By the practice of Krishna consciousness, however, one engages in nine processes of devotional service to the Lord. The first and foremost of such devotional engagement is hearing about Krishna. This is very powerful transcendental method for purifying the mind and all misgivings. Right? So the more one hears, the more one becomes enlightened and detached from everything that draws the mind away from Krishna. So one has to hear daily, right? So that's what Prabhupada is saying. One has to hear daily the transcendental literatures, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And from whom one should hear? One should hear from a realized souls. Of course, we are hearing from Srila Prabhupada books. So he recorded those literatures, right? So, then somebody transcribed it. Actually, by reading Srila Prabhupada books means we are hearing from him directly. Right? So, and also we are having this opportunity, of course, in Naperville, a lot of devotees are very frequently visiting us and many devotees, senior devotees are here. So, we are getting the opportunity to hear on a very frequent basis, right? So, we should not miss this opportunity and we should take as much as possible to hear from these great souls. So, Prabhupada said books are the basis and preaching is the essence. So, if we need to preach, we need to study. So then other thing, do you think mistakes would not happen between two individuals? Let us go to two people now. There are two great individuals are there. Do you think there would not be any misunderstandings or mistakes will not happen between them? It will happen, right? That is for granted. So everybody might know. Oh, sorry. So I wanted to recite or say one pastime, one story from the Srimad Bhagavatam about Durvasa Muni and Maharaj Ambarish. So many of you might know, but maybe some of you looks new. I just wanted to briefly tell about that story. So Maharaj Ambarish is a great king and a great devotee. Of course, many of you know Durvasa Muni, right? Durvasa Muni is a great Muni. So Maharaj Ambarish does a fasting on Ekadasi. It is actually 11th day from the waning moon and waxing moon. So devotees does fasting on that day. So Maharaj Ambarish does fasting for a long time. But then we have to break the fasting on the next day, Dwadasi day, right? The 12th day. So there is a certain window of time frame that the one need to break the fast. So Maharaj Ambarish was supposed to break the fast next day. So suddenly at that time, Durvasa Muni comes with his 10,000 disciples, right? So suddenly appears there and is a guest. So guest has to be treated well. So he says, okay, can you have a breakfast with me? He says, no, I need to go and take shower, right? So he goes to the river and with all his 10,000 disciples, he has to come back after taking bath. So, but meanwhile, he's taking time. The time is getting lapsed. So the window is getting crossed for the breaking the fast. So Maharaj Ambarish is worried because if you don't break the fast within the time, the purpose of the fasting will be lost, right? So he checked with the few brahmanas. The brahmanas suggested, okay, you can drink water. By drinking water, you are not breaking the fast, and at the same time you are breaking the fast, right? So also you are not disrespecting the guest. You are not having any food. So then Maharaj Ambarish took 2 sips of water, right? He didn't drink a full glass of water also. So just to break the fast. So, but Durvasa Muni he is a very mystic yogi, and he was able to understand, oh, Ambarish Maharaj did this. So suddenly he appeared there, right? So he appeared there and he got so upset that you are mistreating the guest. So then he created a fiery demon. So he created a fiery demon to kill Maharaj Ambarish just for drinking the 2 sips of water, right? So that is the misunderstanding he had. So what is the mistake that he did? He just drank the 2 sips of water. So he created this fiery demon to kill him, right? So of course Maharaj Ambarish is also great devotee. So as soon as he was in trouble, Lord Vishnu helped him, right? He sent Sudarshan Chakra was immediately appeared there, tried to kill Maharaj Durvasa Muni. So then what happened? Durvasa Muni is also very great personality, right? He was very angry person, but yeah, he's very great personality. He was able to even go to Brahma, Indra, Vishnu, even Shiva, Vishnu also, right? So that means he's very great personality. He's not a normal person, right? So we need to understand that he's a very great personality. But he made this mistake, or he misunderstood this. So then he was in trouble, he was running, and then Sudarshan Chakra was attacking him. So then finally he goes to all the places, right? Except the place he was supposed to go. Right? He is supposed to go to Ambarish Maharaj. He was going everywhere else. Right? He was going to Brahma, he was going to Indra, he was going to Shiva, he was going to even Vishnu. He went there Vishnu, but Vishnu directed him. No, you are supposed to go to Ambarish Maharaj. Right? So he went everywhere except him. So that's what generally we do, right? When we make a mistake, we try to go to different people and try to cover, say that mistake, the other person did, just to cover ourselves. Right? So, we don't even agree, or we don't go to that person and ask for forgiveness. That creates a lot of problems, right? It adds a lot. If the other person is a great personality, it will be more problem. Of course, they may understand, but it's a big problem for us. Right? So, that is one thing. And the next one is that, okay. So, next one, let us see when there are 3 different individuals there are groups of people are there. Right? So this is very fascinating story in this Srimad Bhagavatam. It is actually Jaya Vijaya, when the Kumaras, the 4 Kumaras, who are the sons of Lord Brahma, so, right? They were the first sons of Lord Brahma. That means they're very, very great personalities. And they visit one fine day Vaikunta. So there they were supposed to enter into Vaikunta, and then there are 2 gatekeepers are there, Jaya and Vijaya. So they don't allow them. Because these 4 Kumaras, they look like small boys, right? They were 5 years old boys. They don't even wear clothes. So then Jaya and Vijaya thinks, who are these 4 people, right? Who were trying to enter into it. They stopped them. So, is it a mistake? If you say it is not a mistake, right? Because they are performing their duty. And then they don't understand that who are these 4 personalities, right? From that perspective, it is a mistake. But generally it is, if you see, he's performing they are performing their own duty. So it is not a mistake from that perspective. But then the Kumaras got very upset and they got very angry, and they got very angry, right? They said that who are these 2 personalities? In this place they are there. This place is supposed to be for people who are no enemies, right? They are able to distinguish, means they are saying that somebody is enemy, somebody is not enemy. They are not entering, allowing us to enter, right? So they are very they don't know, right? They are maybe imposters, right? So let us curse them. So what they immediately they do? Curse Jaya and Vijaya. So what they curse? The curse is that you are not supposed to be in this spiritual world. You are supposed to go back to the material world. Right? It's a big curse for a devotee who is there with Vishnu, and that too is they are gatekeepers of Lord Vishnu. Right? Immediately they understand we did a big mistake. Right? They realize, and they immediately accept that mistake, and they fall at their feet and then ask for forgiveness. So meanwhile, what happens? The Lord knows this. Right? So the Lord knows, immediately Lord appears there. Right? As soon as it says that in the Bhagavatam, he doesn't even take Garuda. Garuda generally he sits on the back and comes. He doesn't came, he just runs without even wearing the shoes. He was so worried that his devotees are in trouble. He appears instantly. And he know what he does? He accepts the mistake what they did. Okay? I approve the mistake, he says. I approve the curse, I approve the curse what you did to them. Because they did a mistake, they don't know who you are. And then again he says that I take the responsibility, because they are my servants, I take the responsibility of, I take the complete responsibility because they are my servants. Right? Then it actually now Lord has taken responsibility, and what he does, he praises the Brahmanas. In the multiple verses, he praises the Brahmanas very nicely. Then he says that you cut my hands, because Jaya and Vijaya are like his, both hands. So then what happens actually, then he praises the Brahmanas, and he says the devotees are very dear to him, and he approves this mistake. And then actually the sages doesn't understand what actually Lord is talking multiple ways, different ways he was talking. And this is the Kumaras gets confused. What is Lord Vishnu is trying to tell them, right? So they get confused, and they say that of course they offer obeisances when the Lord comes, and they praises the Lord about his glories. And then the Lord also receives them very nicely, and he says that Brahmanas are very dear to him, and all those things happens. And then devotees also very dear to him, and then he approves this punishment, right? So then the Kumaras suddenly gets kind of confused, right? They bewilders what is happening here, right? They don't understand, because the Lord is very difficult to understand the Lord, of course, unless one is very, very great personality. Here actually is trying to convey different ways. They are very dear to him, and then again he is approving the mistake what they did, right? Actually by this time Kumaras understood that it is actually because they fall at their feet, the Jaya and Vijaya, and the Lord is coming and telling all these things. And by this time the Kumaras understood that they made a mistake, because Lord is accepting the mistake, and the sages are the Jaya and Vijaya are accepting the mistake. And then they thought that okay, it is the thing that they did the mistake, right? They could not comprehend. Then they say, okay, it says that actually the sages had it wide open ears, pondered it well, but although hearing, they could not understand what he intended to do. Right? Then the Lord, whatever punishment you wish to award to those innocent persons, right? Yeah, that one. Or also to us, we shall accept it without duplicity. We understand that we have cursed these two faultless personalities. Then finally Lord says, it is not your fault, it is my arrangement. Right? It is happening, first of all, what is happening here? So the Kumaras were stopped, and for no reason, Jaya and Vijaya got punished or cursed. And then Lord came and he accepted the responsibility. And again after that, the Kumaras are saying that they are at fault. They are okay to take any kind of punishment. And again Lord is saying that is all my arrangement, right? You don't need to worry. So in this case, everybody at the end, if you see, right, the whole situation was very bad actually, right? Very bad in the sense, people were in trouble, right? Jaya Vijaya has to go to material world. But then none of them were kind of unhappy, right? Jaya and Vijaya and were okay to take the responsibility of coming to material world, because Lord wants it, right? So they accepted the responsibility, and then none of them retaliated, right? So the Jaya and Vijaya did not retaliate, saying that, yeah, we did not make the mistake, we did our duty, why are you sending us to material world? So they didn't do that. So they accepted the responsibility. And then what happened? Nobody got offended or hurt. Whatever Jaya and Vijaya had to go through, very hard. But then what Lord said after that, I will be there with you all the time. So even though you are going to be a demons, right? Of course he says not 100 lives, they give options. He takes those 3 births as a demons. Demons means it is against the Lord, right? Because they wanted to go back to the spiritual world quickly, they accepted that. But then the Lord, he never left them. So, Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Dantavakra and Shishupal, right? So they never forgot Vishnu or Krishna. They were always remembering from the birth, right? They're going to kill. He's going to kill, or they're going to come and kill them. So the Lord was always with them. He personally came in every lifetime to kill them, right? He never left them alone. I mean, of course, it's a demon, so but that's what they happened, the whole situation, right? I mean, even though three people are there, when they accepted the responsibility, and when then they were not retaliated, and then they understood the purpose, so they were all kind of happy, right? So the next one, let us see, maybe we'll go a little more. Multiple people are there, right? There are groups of individuals are there, two groups are there, right? Within a family, actually, that happens, right? So you might know this Daksha. Daksha is a Prajapati. So Prajapati means he's very, very responsible role. So he's actually son of Lord Brahma. So his the responsibility is to create the all living entities, right? Various living entities at the beginning of creation. So he was supposed to do that. So he has very, of course, he's very great personality, very handsome. So his daughter was Sati, right? So Sati gets married to Lord Shiva. So then once upon a time, all the sages perform great yajna. So that time Lord Brahma was heading that, and all the people are invited. So then Prajapati Daksha enters that ceremony. So as soon as he entered, his whole thing was brilliant, right? Very effulgent personality, and everybody stood up, except Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. So Lord Brahma did not stood up because he's his father, so that is expected. But then Prajapati Daksha could not take. Lord Shiva did not get up, right? He is his son-in-law. He is supposed to respect him, but he did not. He did not get up, right? So that created a lot of problem for Daksha, right? So then what he does, he offends Shiva. So the way he offends is very, it gives, so he talks so many things bad about Lord Shiva, right? He says that his eyes are like, I can't read from there, let me, yeah, so his eyes are like monkeys, and he has married my daughter, whose eyes are just like a deer cub. Nevertheless, he did not stand up to receive me, nor did he think it fit to welcome me with sweet words. I think, yeah. So he lives in a filthy places like crematoriums, and his companions are ghosts and demons, naked like a madman, sometimes laughing and sometimes crying. He smears crematorium ashes all over his body. He does not bathe regularly. He ornaments of his body with a garland of skulls and bones. Therefore, only in name he is Shiva or auspicious. Actually, he is most mad and inauspicious creature. Thus, he is very dear to crazy beings in gross mode of ignorance, and he is their leader. See how nastily he is talking about Lord Shiva. What Lord Shiva did, he did not stood up, right? So it is not actually anger that is coming at that instantly, right? At that moment, it is not a momentous anger. I mean, if we all can understand, because he is talking about so many things about from the past, right? So he did not simply say that, yeah, he didn't stood up or whatever. Actually, for that matter, Lord Shiva gives the reason why he did not stand when Prajapati Daksha comes. Actually, he was in a deep meditation. He was meditating on the super soul, right? He was a great devotee. So that is the reason. That was the reason that he did not stand when Lord Prajapati Daksha entered. But then Daksha was talking about, out of this deep envy, right? He is talking about so many bad things about Lord Shiva, right? Actually, he is demanding respect. He is not even commanding the respect. I mean, respect has to be commanded, right? So, not demanded. So, then Lord Shiva, he gets cursed. What curse he does? He says that, okay, demigods are supposed to get the share of oblations when sacrifice is being performed. And he says that Lord Shiva is not going to get it, right? So, that is the curse. So, I mean, he is doing this out of pride, ignorance, and envy, right? So, then what he does? He leaves the assembly. So, I mean, he is supposed to be there, and out of all these bad qualities, he doesn't even respect Lord Shiva or any of the great personalities. Everybody tries to stop him, says that don't go, it is not proper etiquette, but he doesn't listen to that. He leaves the assembly. So, then what happens? So, what happens? He does so many things. When there are two groups of people are there, right? One party is, Daksha did this thing, and Nandeshwara is there on the other side, Lord Shiva's party. He gets up and he says all these things, right? He curses Daksha and all the Brahmanas. He doesn't stop at Daksha. He goes one more level, right? He says all the Brahmanas who are there, right? He curses them, right? So, see what he says. So the Brahmanas to take to education, austerity and vows only for the purpose of maintaining the body. They shall be devoid of discrimination between what to eat and what not to eat. They will acquire money begging from door to door simply for the satisfaction of the body. Then you know what happens next? Can anybody guess? What happens next? One party is already entered and now the other party will come again, right? Bhrugumuni follows, right? So Bhrugumuni again, he curses. He says that he doesn't just curse Nandishwara there. He says that, okay, all the Shiva's worshippers, right? It becomes a big fight. One who takes a vow to satisfy Lord Shiva, who follows such principles, right, will certainly become an atheist and be diverted from the transcendental scriptural injunctions. So do you see what is happening here? One person did a mistake, Daksha did, right? So it is becoming a big fight between the communities, right? I mean, one community actually, it's a one community, one family actually, if you say, right? It's becoming two groups and they're fighting each other, right? So, I mean, the problem is that when we are part of a community, it is always, I mean, from this, we can understand if something we did a bad, right? It comes on whole community. Somebody outsider may say, right? But when we are in this side, we should be realizing at least from this thing, it is not the whole community's problem. It is the individual's problem. It's not the whole community's problem, right? So, I mean, we should not go to that level, right? Getting into a bigger level unnecessarily. So, do you think does it stop here? Just the fight between these two, and actually Lord Shiva leaves because he can't bear with this because it's not stopping. He leaves the place and everybody also stops and they continue to perform the yajna. And then, does it stop here? It doesn't stop here, right? Again, Daksha performs another yajna. So, then he, So Daksha performs, I don't have slide for that. Daksha performs again another yajna. So Mother Sati, she sees actually all the aeroplanes are going above the sky, right? She sees all the relatives, I mean the technology I don't know. She was able to see all the relatives and all, right, who are going in the aeroplanes. And she comes to Lord Shiva. They were not invited, right? Lord Shiva was not invited. His son-in-law, he was not invited. So because of that envy that he had, right? Lord Shiva also doesn't want to go. He is fine. But Mother Sati, actually, she is his daughter, right? She wanted to go. So then she comes and asks Lord Shiva, can we go? Lord Shiva says, he tells a lot of things. I mean, it's not good for us to go. He's very envious person to me. So because of that, even if you go alone, you will be in trouble. She doesn't listen. She was angry and she finally leaves. She wanted to meet her sisters and all the family members. Then as soon as she enters, of course, as expected, she was not welcomed by Daksha, right? Her sisters and mother takes her, but Daksha doesn't even care. He just looks at it and leaves. He was busy with his yajna. She was very upset, and then she was expecting that, right? She was just expecting the recognition from her father. First of all, he did not invite her, right? It was a mistake. And then when she came, even an enemy comes, we are supposed to take care of it nicely. Right? Daksha is such a great personality, he doesn't do that. He doesn't have that proper etiquette when Mother Sati goes there. Right? She's also a great personality, being the wife of Lord Shiva. Right? So then Lord Shiva sends few attendants along with Sati to that place. So as soon as this happens, Mother Sati gets very upset. Actually, they were not even offering the oblations to Lord Shiva in the yajna. So she gets very upset and she gets very angry and she scolds her father very badly. So then she says that this body I got from you, so I don't want to have this body. She wants to give up the body. She's a very great personality. She was able to generate the fire from her body and she dies. Then as soon as that happens, there are few attendants of Lord Shiva, they attack the other party. And then they create some demons, Bhrigu creates, and then again they fight each other. So this news goes to Lord Shiva. So what Lord Shiva does? He takes the hair from his head and he creates this big demon, right? So then he says that what to do, right? What he says? Go and kill Prajapati Daksha. So you see where it started. Lord Shiva did not stood up, right? It is happening, all these things. So much destruction was happening. Mother Sati died, right? So much is happening in a family, actually, in a community or a family, we can say, right? Two groups are fighting for such a small thing, right? So I mean, it's very very lessons. I mean, so much lessons that we can learn from this. So what is that one has to have? Right, of course, out of this deep envy, that then Lord Brahma helps to get back Daksha, because Brahma, the followers of Daksha goes to Brahma and prays to Brahma. Brahma says, okay, you have to go to Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva finally agrees, and he gets the body of head of a Daksha gets a body head of a goat. He loses all his beauty, right? He's very humiliated now. But at least he gets into little better compared to earlier. He offers prayers to Lord Shiva. So he recognizes his mistake. Again, he does mistake later again, of course. So because that is out of his envy, right? So if one has that, it is a momentous anger is fine. When we are in a group, when we are discussing something, some people may get angry sometimes. That may be okay. If as long as it's not dragging it to a different level, or it is not because of out of envy. Right, so this envy is very bad quality, because that is, if you see Daksha, he was bringing all these things about Lord Shiva, right? So he is completely humiliating him, right? Actually, if you read, that section, when after that Vishnu also comes. Actually, initially when all things happens, Brahma and Vishnu were not there. They know what is going to happen. They don't come. But after everything, Daksha gets this body again back. Lord Vishnu also appears there, and Prajapati Daksha, he says that he is performing yajna for the pleasing Vishnu. So he knows that what is he doing, but he could not make that simple thing that he should not offend the Vaishnava, right? A great Vaishnava like Lord Shiva. So of course that's all happens. So yeah, it's very very dangerous. Right, and then the other one is this. We were talking about individual level and a group level and at a community level. So we talked about a lot of things from the Bhagavatam. What are the lessons that we can learn? And then if we go to there is one more nice history from there is a king called Veena, right? So he was we'll go to little maybe bigger level, right? How he was able to get a nice environment, right, in the society. Or try to avoid, lot of drought and problems when his father Veena was the king. So actually Veena was very, very cruel personality. So from small childhood, he used to go and kill his friends, right, who are playing with him. Playmates used to kill. So very, 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 very dangerous. His father was not able to bear. His father leaves the palace. So there was no king. And somehow this sages make the Veena as a king, because there was no qualified personality. And then you know what happens when that kind of person becomes a king or a president? He creates so much havoc, right, in the whole world. So he stops all the yajnas. Yajnas are going to come, because yajna, once performing yajna, the rains will come, the demigods will get happy. So nothing comes, and the earth stops producing food grains, and there is a lot of droughts, right? So what happens with all this? And then finally the sages. So people are scared actually when he comes. Okay, so then his father leaves. So he stopped all the yajnas. So then his son King Prithu comes. The sages create him from his thighs. That is a big story. We don't have time. So then he is such a great personality. Actually, he's an incarnation of the Lord, right? Shakti Avesh incarnation. So he was such a great personality. Because of him, he was able to challenge the earth. Right, earth was not still producing after he became king also. So he challenges the earth. There is a big, lot of verses that talks about the conversation between Mother Earth and then Prithu Maharaj. Finally, Mother Earth agrees. I was holding all this because of so many bad things. Or bad king was there, or bad people were there. Right now, I don't need to do. So she produces. She produces so much that people from different planetary systems to come and take it, the stuff that is coming from the earth. Right? It's very, very bewildering. How earth can produce so many things when the king was such a great personality. Right? So, we see droughts, so much, right? Because now the modern society is becoming So what do you call atheistic or the completely it's all dependent on the modern solutions, right? So we still have so many droughts across the world. We might not be realizing it, but if you see, I mean, there are Middle East, if you see, right, there are no rains. If you see California, I mean, I was hearing that it's surprising actually, California is under drought, right, for many years. So but people are able to move because of some technology. But what happens if whole country is in that problem, right? I was hearing Qatar some time back when there was that war was happening. People are trying to stop sending water to the country, right? What happens if we don't get water for a day, right? Because all these things are happening because, I mean, there is no proper, of course, it all starts from the bottom, right? People are not pious. People are not doing anything. They're completely materialistic, right? So then there are no yajnas performed, and there are no yajnas performed, no rains. So then the other one, actually, there are a lot of wars we were talking about. So we'll go back to Bhagavad Gita now. So I know we have, I think, 3-4 minutes. Hopefully, Shyam Prabhu, I'm okay for 5 more minutes. Okay. So Bhagavad Gita actually will go, actually Prabhupada says there is a verse in the 5th chapter, 29th, Bhaktaram Igna Tapasham Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhrudam Sarva Bhutanam Gnatmamam Santim Ruchyati. Right? Prabhupada says this is actually a peace formula. All right? So Bhakta means, I mean, of course, the enjoyer. So Yagna, Tapa, right? Both austerities and sacrifices. So Maheshwara means proprietor. So of what? Sarvaloka. Sarvaloka means all the planets. And also is not that, Krishna is saying this. Suhrudam Sarva Bhutanam. Suhrudam means well-wisher or best friend. Sarva Bhutanam, all the living entities. He's not just talking about human beings only, right? He's talking about all the living entities. He's not talking about only Indians or Americans. He's talking about everybody. So when we understand Krishna in this way, or then the God in this way, right? So why people, why there will be any insecurity, right? Wars are happening because of insecurity or because of fear. Somebody is going to come and take my property. Right? I'm the owner, I'm the boss. But when one understands this, no, I'm not the boss, okay? Krishna is the boss, or the Supreme Lord is the boss. So then, I mean, also I'm not the owner, right? So I'm temporarily given this opportunity to hold it, and then I need to take care of it as long as I'm I'm given the responsibility, but I'm not the boss, right? Krishna is the boss, or the Supreme Lord is the boss. So when one has this understanding, right? So it will be, they will not be insecure, there will be no insecurity, right? People will not be feeling fear. So the other thing, quickly I will go. Actually, Prabhupada says in the purport, this is the peace formula. So do you know, coming back to that reverse thing, I put it because I just wanted to see. So if you all know well, we say Mother Ganga, Yamuna Mai ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai. So when we say like they're equal to almost like God, right? We treat them, right? So when we treat those personalities in Mother Earth, so if somebody treats, I mean, you don't put on your mother something, right, like garbage. So we don't do like when Mother Yamuna is like a river, river Yamuna is like our mother. So we don't treat like that, right? So it is like actually a big, we treat them like mothers. So but when people doesn't have that consciousness or that understanding, so they do anything what they want to do, right? So then I just want to tell one small story. Sorry. What happened? So one small story regarding the peace thing. So I heard there was a drug trafficker in California some time back, right? So somehow he was able to escape. He was not getting caught. There was a notice by police to catch him for some kind of money they will give. And then he somehow he gets into devotees. When the devotees go out for Sankirtan, he gets into that, he escapes somehow. And then he comes to temple along with them, and they will count, okay, one person is more, and they try to ask him, who are you and all. He doesn't say less lies. I just like this, I want to stay here. So he stays with them, and he takes, some dinner prasadam, what they give. And next day again, wakes him up, and of course he's not used to those things. So he gets up and he joins along with them, because he can't go out now. Right? He's a drug trafficker, he will be in trouble if he tells the truth. So somehow he was just trying to be with them. He's very nice, devotees are very nice. So he was being with them, and he was doing forcibly all the things that they were doing. He was getting nice prasadam, morning, evening, and afternoon. So he was happy with that. So slowly after 6 months, they told him to chant and everything he was doing. So after 6 months, he gets enough strength. And then he was adjusted with them. He became one of them, right? So because of chanting and by being with the association of those devotees. Then he, after 1 year, he goes and tells the temple president, do you know who am I? He says that you are he says that you are Bhakta Jan or whatever it is. Then this person says, no, I am so and so, right? I am so and so criminal. Then the temple president says, what should I do? He says, what should I do? He said, go and surrender. He goes to the judge and he surrenders. I did this mistake. So then they will ask, what did you do for last 1 year? Then he explains all this story, right? And judge says that itself is a big punishment. Of course, why they put in jail, right? He has to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, right? So it's a big punishment, of course, in that way. But he became completely changed, right? By being with the devotees, right? So it is very nice. And then actually, of course, I just want to conclude. Srila Prabhupada has given these 4 regulative principles, right? Those are the 4 legs of, to protect the 4 legs of dharma, right? Austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. So, and then he gave the holy name. Just by chanting the holy name, our hearts will become purified like this. What happened to this Bhakta Jan, right? Then it brings all auspiciousness around the world, and people will become closer to the God, and it will help us to realize the God, right? And then we will not fight based on the bodily platform between different religions. Today we may be Hindu, maybe last life, who knows who we were, right? We may be a Muslim or we may be a Christian. So it is all bodily platform. So as long as one understands that, by practicing the process that given to us by Srila Prabhupada and by studying his books. So his books are very, very powerful. And we saw so many stories, right? Srila Prabhupada has given this understanding to us. It's just not a stories, right? If you see those purports, they're very, very elaborate, very, very realized purports. Right, so he has given a lot of, things how to deal with in the society, and of course we need to cooperate with the devotees. Otherwise, it is, that is the last instruction of Srila Prabhupada, right? So he said that please cooperate with all the devotees. With your, God brothers and God sisters. By doing that, we all can become a one force, right? We can perfect our lives, and we can preach more, right? So this is one thing I just wanted to conclude. Srila Prabhupada's quote, if just 1% of the world population becomes Krishna conscious, the whole situation of the earth will change. This he was given in the Los Angeles lecture. So, it all starts with at our level, and then it expands at a group level, of course. And then by doing that, maybe we'll be able to help at a larger extent. Prabhupada says just 1% of the population is good enough to change the face of the earth, right? So, thank you all so much. So, that's all I have. Thank you for coming.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for this lecture. Once again, please give a big hand to Lakshmikanta. And thank you so much for coming, patiently listening the lecture. And some of you may know our program starts every Sunday at 4:30, and Aarti starts at 5 o'clock. So it will be really, really nice if you don't miss that Aarti, because that's one of the highlight of every Sunday. So please try to come on Sunday 4:30, 5 p.m. Today, I think the month of Pitra Paksha has begun, not today or last few days. So we have quite a few sponsorship where people are seeking blessings for their fathers and forefathers, beloved ones, those are not there. So we have 8 of them. So I will read their names out, and then we all together will pray for these people. So Sangeeta Hans Mataji, she is praying for her parents. Ajit Singh Prabhu, father's annual death anniversary. Aroni and Ananya Vora on same Pitra Paksha Amasya to make offering for ancestors. We have Abhijay Paul in memory of his grandfather. And Sriji Leela Mataji is sponsoring for her father-in-law and their Praful Chandra Bhatt. Also Sriji Leela Mataji also sponsoring for Yasodhara Bhatt Mataji, wants to sponsor the memory of her husband, Devendra Bhatt. And Nagaruj Kundeti Prabhu is sponsoring for his forefathers' death anniversary. So besides this, we also have a sponsorship from Setu Raman Prabhu, seeking blessings from all devotees. So together, and for everybody's forefather here and others who are not here, let's sincerely pray to Sri Radha Syam Sundar this month for blessing. So please, let's together chant 3 times Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. May Radha Syam Sundar give blessings to every one of our fathers and forefathers. And since we all are here, for sure their journey will be guaranteed to some Krishna's abode. So with that, we'll call. So there are other responses. So we'll give prasadam to 8 people in their hand. So we have prasadam boxes for everyone who all are here who are sponsored. Please collect with Ramdas Prabhu once we are done, because we have some other sponsorship left. Announcements left. So every Sunday we do this Sunday Feast sponsorship, and through that we run this Sunday program. So please, if you are inspired, please talk to Ramdas Prabhu in front. He is standing, and give the details. Go to website, and this small donation that you give, that help run support our temple. So we'll be very, very obliged for your kind support. So thank you. You can talk to Ramdas Prabhu. Premna Mataji every Sunday does a very special service, and today I think she is not well. She is not here. And Premna Mataji, our temple president, those of you who don't know. So one of the things she does is every week, every Sunday, she announces one individual who goes out of the way to run and support this temple. And we have a secret today. So the secret person, don't know who is that person. But the person is amazing. And today I'm very, very fortunate. Somehow I happen to announce that person because I love him so much. He's so respected, and always I feel that he is one who inspires me. That person is none other than Vrindavan Das Prabhu. Hari Bol! Please. Come on, once loud. He is the one, of course there are many inspires, but he is the one who inspires me the most. Sincerely, nobody ever has to tell, and he does the most difficult job that some of you may not even, me, but yes, he does. It's the cleaning service. Yes. So let me read out a little bit about Vrindavan Das Prabhu. Vrindavan Das Prabhu has been practicing Krishna Bhakti Yoga for last 8 years. He has been serving in Iskcon Naperville by coordinating the cleaning services at temple for the Sunday Feast and all major festivals. He also supports the book distribution initiative in Naperville. Those who know him appreciate his warm, gentle speech, reliability, and spirit of service. Driven by the deep interest in the practice of Bhakti Yoga, he is consistent participant in the all spiritual education program, and he facilitates Bhagavad Gita discussion regularly. He works as a mechanical engineer and lives with his family in Aurora. So again, not enough told. I can write so much about him, but more than that, I want to hear from him. Prabhu, please tell the truth. Please inspire, please speak. Right on the spot.
Actually, it is.
That's very small for him. Go ahead, Prabhu. This is your time.
Thank you very much for all the devotees giving me this opportunity. to serve somehow or the other. So I'm very grateful for that. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
So, see the humility. See the humility. I wish we could have even 10% of that. At least I could have 10% of that. So thank you so much, Prabhu, everything that you do. Today is a very, very important day, very important. With our book distribution team, which is a community outreach team, has a significant milestone they accomplished. And I really don't want to steal their thunder, although I feel like, but rather I want to call Vamsi Dhari Prabhu to talk about that. So please stay for a few minutes. He's our champion. Give a big hand to Vamsi Dhari Prabhu. Hari bol, Hari bol.
So we'll call our cheerleader, and also we need Mridanga, we need Kartal, Mridanga player, Prabhu. And we will all face towards Prabhupada. It's an offering we are going to make. Yeah. 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 Yeah, we can all raise up actually. Raise up. Hare Krishna. So, this event, can we increase the volume? Volume? Sorry, getting ready with a lot of technology. So, this event is like an offering. We call it monthly Sankirtan Festival Offering to Srila Prabhupada. So, and today's event is a very special one. So, we will say the pranam mantra of Prabhupada first, and then I will explain what it is, and then we'll go on with the offering. So, we need to keep you on hold your prasadam. So, it's a special. You will not, you will be happy. Okay. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine. So on the screen of the TV we see something called Srimad Bhagavatam. It comes in 12 canto, 12 skanda or 18 books, and some small books will have 44 volume. And it is said to be the true shelter in Kali Yuga. Just yesterday or today I was talking with someone. He always carry one copy of Bhagavatam with him. So he feels a lot of shelter, especially when he feels very fearful, he touches the Bhagavatam. So that's the power of this Bhagavatam. And it is said, simply having at home brings tremendous good fortune. And so on. There are a lot of benefits. Just keeping the Bhagavatam in the home, very, very powerful. Destroys all fear, illusion, lamentation, and our place become holy place. Okay, I'll do it. And moreover, just keeping in the home, children will get benefited very greatly, very powerful. And it is this Bhagavad Purana is given by Veda Vyas himself. We all know he wrote Vedas, right? Number of Vedas, any knowledge we can say in this world, it's given by Veda Vyas. Out of writing all the Vedas, under the instruction of Narada Muni, he said, this Bhagavatam will give us all light and shelter in this Kali Yuga. Okay? And the reason the books are so powerful is because books are Krishna himself. You're having Bhagavatam in your home, that means you have Krishna in your home. Padma Purana specifically says his first two books are called the feet of Krishna, and the third and fourth are called thighs, and so on. And the 10th is called the face, and so on. Therefore, when you keep Bhagavatam in the home, how a magnet attracts iron, Bhagavatam attracts all good fortune into our life. More to it, if you can dust it, because Bhagavatam is like a deity, you get a lot of spiritual benefit. Okay? So therefore, Srila Prabhupada, when he started this movement, Iskcon, he brought Bhagavatam with him, and he dedicated his whole life making those, the essence of Vedas, which is Bhagavad Purana, making it easily accessible to us, digestible to us, by explaining in an easy way and making sure it's available to all of us in very, very easy way. Because just 100, 200 years back, there was hardly a one copy or two copy all over the world. That was the only copies left in the world, right? But our acharyas, with their power influence, they were able to secure that copy and pass it on to Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada passing it to one is, with his very, very wonderful explanations and so on. So, in addition to that, Prabhupada started the whole movement with the Bhagavatam. In addition to it, there is a very special day in this month, Bhadra Mas, on this Purnima day. If anyone receives it, therefore we had puja 2 weeks back or 3 weeks back. If anyone receives it, that's it. Our destination to Vaikuntha is guaranteed. So having said that, there is a whole lot movement all over this Iskcon. And just today morning, they announced how many sets were distributed for this Bhadra Purnima all over the world. So let me ask, anyone wants to give a guess? We'll have 3 guesses. Please tell some number. How many Bhagavatams must have got distributed all over the world in this year? 800,000. 50,000. What's that? 60,000. More. 48,800. 1 million. We're getting there. So you cannot believe it. 50,000 books, Bhagavatam sets were distributed. Let's check. Can we just someone sing Hari Bol for Prabhupada? For this, it's a great accomplishment. It is glory that his 50,000 of his sets were distributed for his pleasure.
Hari Bol! Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol! Nitai Gora Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol!
This is a huge accomplishment, because as I said, just 200 years back, there was hardly a copy all over the earth. There was hardly 1 or 2 copies. But, this year, it is still, cannot digest to me, 50,000 sets. Imagine, how much auspiciousness it is producing all over the earth. So therefore, this project is also called Save the Earth Project for this year. And out of North America, these are the numbers for the world. In India, we see always the highest, 32,500. And then America, we see close to 6,000 sets were distributed. So now you want to guess how many our Naperville has distributed? It's on the top 2 this year. There was out of North America, we have 60 centers participated, 60 temples participated. Out of the 60 temples, ISV is always our leader and inspirer. So they distributed 2,500 sets. So right after that is Naperville. Give a Haribol, the big Haribol to Srila Prabhupada. Haribol! Then the numbers go 200 to 150 and so on. So now you want to know how the Naperville community distributed 200 sets? There you go. Ready for it? We go from the topper. Rupa Mataji. She distributed 21 sets. 21 sets is not easy. Basically what she did was she took her phone, gone back to all her contacts last 20 years. And she got so many no's because nobody ever says, okay, I'm ready, give that set, so 18 books, put it in my home. Nobody's ready for it. And what to speak if you said $300? But she persisted and it came to 21 sets. And one of the very wonderful story is that one day, this is a very nice, how she did it. She was taking her tour for her daughter for a college tour. And then they were going around. He is the college guide there, tour guide. And then he said, there is a wonderful book called Srimad Bhagavatam. It is very good. Can you keep it? And that's it. He said he was so grateful and he started offering respects on the road. So like there's very wonderful stories we have. I'm not going to get into the details. I'll touch upon a couple. So the highest is by Rupa Mataji, who actually inspired all of us in 2 weeks time, for us to reach 200 sets. And then comes Daivi Shakti Mataji. You have seen her, she is here. She is 8-year-old. Every year, she distributed 14 sets. It's like every year she doesn't go less than 10. She just stays home, she takes the phone, calls everyone. So this year she was running out of her contacts. What she did was she asked her contacts who she had given Bhagavatam sessions in the previous year, asked them to help her. So then goes, of course, we are blessed with the Holiness Rompas Maharaj programs and Veda Priya Maharaj and Malati Mataji. There was 12 sets were distributed during those programs. And then Patel brothers used to keep table, 11 sets. And Shatarupa, she is our cheerleader. Shavya Mataji 7 sets and Suniti Mataji 7 sets. You should hear this story also. Suniti Mataji, she is very who is our Lakshmikanta Prabhu, who spoke the class today. It's his wife. And she's very shy, she is not at all outspoken person. And then she always tells, okay, I get fearful, I cannot distribute like that. But the methodology she applied this year is, in a whole year, she cultivated the people and she distributed 7 sets this year. And Kanakabja Prabhu, there he is. Actually, I was telling him, the Prabhuji is running less of his capability. And the last 1 week we pressurized him, and that's it. He got us 6 sets distributed right in the temple here. And then Govinda Mohini Mataji 5 sets. Damodar Leela Prabhu, they're also they just got 5 sets and kept in the home. They want to gift it to the, whoever they come to their home. Okay? Vamsidhari and Madhvi Mataji Yogananda Prabhu, they're really new. They just know about this distribution and so on just for 2 weeks. And that's it, they blew it up. They are here. Madhvi Mataji and Yogananda Prabhu is here. And Bhumi Mataji, 4 sets. And more. So we see Mega Mataji, 4 sets. Rachna Mataji, Balram Prasad Prabhu. One day, Balram Prasad Prabhu went with Sandhya Mataji and the team, and they even gave it to the Muslim, the set. So Radhakunj Bahari Prabhu is 3 sets and so on. finally, it is the name is getting cut off. It's Supriya Mataji. So everybody like did it in their own ways. The way she did was she has a list of contacts and she kept asking, can you take Bhagavatam? Can you take Bhagavatam? Can you take Bhagavatam? So that's it. She gave out 2 sets. And of course, we also have Kathamrita Mataji. She has reading groups and 3 reading groups, and she inspired. We also have some distributed from there. So guess what? What's coming up next is 100,000 sets for 2026. So these Bhagavatam sets, we cannot do it by ourselves. It is just a flow of energy. It's flowing. We just need to be part of it. So with this now, actually, we want to thank Srila Prabhupada for sending His Holiness Rompad Maharaj, for who inaugurated this 2-week festival. It was like a blast. And also, we also want to thank our cheerleader of the community. You guess who is that? Cheerleader of our community? Oh, next, one more. Shatru Devdasi! Because we only had 2 weeks left, and 2 weeks we have to make 100 sets. So she kept tracking 10 sets every day, calling people, going to homes and everything. And then we also want to thank Govinda Mohini Mataji. You all know she is a busy person, but she took on her the organization. And then our festival team for decorating and so on. Amritakali Mataji, Rundavan Prabhuvan, Chintamani Mataji and so on. Dear Srila Prabhupada, very, very thankful for your mercy. It is really unprecedented festival for us. We hold on to your shelter. We pray for your blessing to keep under your shelter. And next year, please bless us to make it double. So let's all do it next year to 400 sets. The recipe for that is pretty simple. Just read it. It looks like many people say 18 books. How do we read it? Just read like 40 pages a day. You finish in 1 year. That means you read 10 pages, you will finish in 4 years. When you read, you feel a lot of sweetness and happiness. Obviously, you're going to share it with others, like our Bhumi Mataji, Megha Mataji, and so on. Hari Bol, Nitya Gaura.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Nitaya Gaura Hari Premanande, His Grace Vamsidhari Prabhu ki, His Grace Balaram Prasad Prabhu ki, all the Prabhus and Matajis and everybody assembled devotees, all glories to all the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.